Welcome into Rick Renner, Texas High School Hysteria. Make sure you tune in to our weekly show on YouTube and also subscribe to Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Just ask Siri or Alexa to play it. Joining me now, the dynamic duo of the back-to-back state champions, the Lady Bobcats of Celina. Ladies and gentlemen, the coach of the year, Alexander Adams, and arguably the greatest high school soccer player of all time, the one and only Lexi Tuite. Great to see you guys. How much are you enjoying the victory tour right now?
It's pretty awesome. Obviously, we've been on a lot of things, podcasts and stuff, and I think it's been really cool meeting new people, talking to new people, and kind of being able to share our story. I think that's really awesome.
Coach, I get the sense that you're never going to pay for a meal again in the city of Celina.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. The community is really adopted soccer. This has been a football town, and for the right reasons. They've broke a lot of records, won a lot of state championships, and soccer's got a little bit of catching up to do. But so far, we're on the right track, and everybody here in the community they've really embraced us.
Lexi, let's turn back the clock to the beginning of the season before it started. You're coming off the state championship. The Lady Bobcats lose arguably the greatest scorer of all time in Taylor Z, who had an incredible amount of goals, 176 goals in 2 years. And you approached the guy next to you and you said, hey, I want to be the leading scorer of this team and I want to lead the way. Talk about that conversation and how you were able to make that come to life.
For me, it was never really, I want to lead this team in goals. It was, I want to lead this team to a state championship. And for me, I knew that the way I could contribute to that was scoring, because obviously I'm not a defender, I'm not a midfielder, so that's my job, to score. And so for me, that was just a part of the job to help us get back to the state championship and help us win the state championship. And that's what I wanted to do. And I knew that obviously Taylor was big shoes to fill, and I knew that I wanted to fill them. And I just wanted to step up this year and become a captain and becomes a voice on this team and everything.
When you look at that situation, Coach, you love it when a player comes up and says that they want to do that. The big question is whether or not they can do it. Why was Lexi able to be so special to pull that off?
Well, last year she had a great year, and really you go back to just her time here in Celina, that every year she's been scoring goals, and every year it's been better each year. So you could kind of see, it was like a volcano, right? That you started to have the rumblings in her freshman year, but then by the time her senior year, the volcano erupted, and she came to fruition, and you could just see, at how dynamic she played as a player last year. That there were a lot of times, believe it or not, where at the end of the game, a coach would come up to me and say, we all know that Taylor's great, but that number 7, she's dynamic, and to have that again this year and see her go and take control was pretty sweet.
Lex, how did Coach make you believe what he believed, that you could be a state champion at back-to-back?
I think that it took believing in us, and I think he's never not done that. I think he's always believed in us, and I think that he's always been compromisable with us, like listen to our ideas and our opinions and everything. And I just think that that's super important, just as it is important for us to be coachable. If there's a problem on the team, or if we see something that he might not see, being able to come to him and not feeling like we're not going to be listened to is really important.
Well, Coach Adams, you come out looking like a genius in this thing. I mean, you come to Celina in just 2 years, back-to-back state champions, 58-1-1, a 50-game winning streak. It's pretty remarkable. When you first took this job, some 2 years ago, ever in your wildest dreams, did you think it would work out this well?
Well, I knew that they were good, just judging by, you don't go to the state semis and think that, oh, this team isn't going to be a good team. And I knew that I had a player in Taylor, because everybody knew about Taylor in the soccer community here in the state of Texas. So I knew that they were going to be a solid group. But when I got to know the girls, I can tell you that in my head I was like, wow. I always tell everybody I inherited a Ferrari. That it was like I could really tell that there was a special group here in Celina, and it was really special to know that, and really frankly made my job easy to come into a program where, whether it was Lex or Madi Vana or Mia, all the girls that we've had as leaders here in the program, they've really made this job easy.
Lexi, I look at the way the state championship went down for you. It was really the perfect ending to the perfect season of 29-0. You have 5 goals in the state championship final. I mean, have you ever thought about, people don't even dream about doing that. What was that like going through? And then, has it really sunk in what you were able to accomplish on the biggest stage in the state of Texas?
I think for me, I wasn't really there almost. I think for me, it was almost, I was so locked in and something just happened. Because honestly, I think that when I was there, all I wanted to do was win. All I wanted to do was score in the state game. I really went into it hoping that I would at least score one of the main goals and be the MVP. I'd really wanted to be the state MVP from the beginning. And so I think that being able to do that and being able to, with the team's help, obviously, being able to score all those goals and everything, it was really surreal. And breaking the record especially was just, it was a different type of happiness, different type of fulfillment and everything. It really was.
Well, you absolutely, and congratulations, you absolutely rewrote the record books. It's crazy. Most goals at state, most goals in the series with 6, most goals in the state final with 5. You tied the all-time all-state individual mark of 7 goals. Best hair, best reaction. We could go on and on. You had a 64-goal season. How did you do that, Lexi, with such an enormous target on your back? Because every time you took somebody on, they said, we got to stop number 7.
I think that for me, I never really let it get in my head. I know that there's a target on my back, and I know that people are going to be coming for me. A lot of times people would try and just hurt me and take me out in previous games. So I just think that for me, I knew that going into it, and I knew that I had to believe in myself and the team to get the job done and not let it get to me, get in my head. Just do my thing, play my game, and it'll all fall into place. So
I think really too, what's kind of cool about her is the fact that if there was a time where putting the ball to her wasn't working, that she was more than happy to make sure that somebody else was scoring to get the job done. And I think sometimes that's something that is lost with Lex, is that she's the one that facilitates a lot of the scoring in this team this past year, but she's definitely a team first minded person. That's just who she is as a person. Her parents raised her the right way, and she's been coached the right way throughout the years of her soccer career, and that's really made her into a well-rounded player, because if it's not there, she's more than content to pass the ball off if it means that we score. And you can see it in her. So, if you've seen Lex's celebrations on her goals, that's probably the one thing that I'm going to miss the most about Lexi is her celebration. After the goals, whether it's her scoring or somebody else scoring, she's always just as excited. And I think that's proof of the type of player that she is. That she likes to be the star, but at the same time, if it's not working that day, she's more than happy to distribute the ball somewhere else and have somebody else score. And we saw that a couple of times this past year in some games.
Well, Lexi brought it up too, the target on your back, but from your perspective, coach, you got to keep it fresh too, because, everybody's analyzing and looking at you guys, and you were wire to wire number one. That means you were the best team in the state from the beginning of the season till the end, and yet you never lost a game. How were you able to maintain that, knowing that every time you played a game, you were basically getting the other team's World Cup performance?
Yeah, it was tough. It really was. We had to make sure that we were bringing it every game, and going through the season, I think the girls would agree that can be something that's mentally exhausting. And I'll be honest in the fact that when our district season was done and we were undefeated, and it was at that point of, if we lose, our season's over. I really told myself, let's not even think about that. And I did a pretty good job of just forgetting that was happening, because I think it was Makenna Brantley's dad had tweeted something out about our win streak. And I completely am not trying to fake the humbleness, had no idea where we were at, and it was almost like a mental thing that I told myself, like, hey, let's keep the eye on the prize and focus in one game at a time. And it sounds really cliche, and all the stuff that you see in the sports, movies, and all this professional coaches and players always say, but you really have to have that mindset, especially when it comes down to winning a championship. Otherwise, if you start looking ahead, it can nip us in the butt.
You talked about it earlier, what a great player on and off the field that Lexi is, but I had heard some story that one of the club teams actually cut her. And coach, that's almost like Michael Jordan getting cut in high school, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. To have somebody that, at one point was passed up by clubs, and she goes out and has the club and soccer, high school soccer career that she's had is something else. I always kind of equate it to, it's the same thing with Alex Morgan. She had the same thing where she went and tried out for, I think when she was 12 or 13, two clubs passed up on that young lady, and now she's going to probably go down to be the best U.S. women's soccer player of all time. So it goes to show that if you have the will and you have the idea in mind that you want to go out and be successful at something, it really comes down to how bad do you want it. And I can tell you this girl is the epitome of one and will always always have an impression in my mind of somebody that is as mentally tough as it comes.
How are you so resilient through all that, Lexi? Because it didn't seem like any of that even bothered you. You just went out and worked and knew that you could do this.
I think that for me, I just knew that not making a team was just kind of a part of being a player. I know that so many people go through that. Yes, the Michael Jordans, but yes, the people right next to you as well. And so I think for me, obviously, you're not going to make every team. You're not going to make every shot you take, but at least you took it, and at least you tried. And so I think that, again, it does make you better almost. It makes you better to be on a better team, but it also makes you better not to be, because then you want it more and you want to you have something to strive for. So I think for me, that's kind of always been a goal and something, a chip on my shoulder. So.
Well, it's worked out very well for you. And coach, I think the one thing that jumps out at me about the perfect season and how incredible it is, in non-district, you didn't schedule cupcakes. I mean, you were taking on 6A powers, Ursuline, who's a private school powerhouse. It's always in the state championship game. Do you think that those things in the early schedule making for you, I'm sure you're probably thinking, oh, we're probably going to take our bumps and bruises there. We're not going to go undefeated and go 29-0, but did it make you stronger in the end to get the girls over the top matchups, that you would see in the playoffs?
I definitely feel it galvanized us, that to go out and beat really good teams, and they know, all these girls that are on my team, they keep up with all this stuff. They're on Max Preps and Twitter, and with the social media age and how accessible everything is on the internet, these girls are watching all these other teams that we're playing and want to know what it is that they're getting into. So they were well aware of how tough some of these teams were going to be. And I think every time we beat somebody that was a pretty good team, it gave them even more confidence. And I think it got to a point where they started to believe that they were unbeatable. And I think they showed that they were this year. You know, that was something that I think really helped our team mentally, was to go out and take on some of these tough teams. And you know, we're coming from little town Celina and showing them that we can, you know, we may not beat everybody in the state of Texas, but I do believe that there isn't a team out there that we can at least give them a good run for their money in a game. And that's, you know, that's every team from 4A all the way through 6A, you know, and I really believe that our team was good enough to do it. And I think mentally we would go into each game thinking this is going to be a tough one, but we're going to have a chance. And I think that kind of shows the reason why we went and did what we did this season, you know, going and breaking all these records and only being the third team in UIL history to be undefeated and win the state championship.
It's pretty remarkable. And, you know, Lex, I know you made it really difficult on your parents because they have to put another addition on your house for all the awards you're getting and the medals with the MVP, you know, the Dallas Morning News Player of the Year. I mean, after a while, you're probably like, okay, how many more trophies can I have? I mean, they're going to name a street after you in that town. But I know you're the first to give credit to your amazing teammates. When you look at this team and you look back at what you guys were able to accomplish, what do you think differentiated you and your teammates from everybody else?
I think it starts with work ethic, and I think that our team, first of all, has a ton of that. I think that we also have a lot of talent, just natural talent, from our goalie, who's amazing, to obviously the forward, me, I guess, but even our wingers and everything like that. And I don't think that the freshmen and sophomores or even the juniors show any kind of immaturity when it comes to playing. And we're playing older people, and we're playing teams full of seniors and full of people going to play in college. And I think that they don't show that immaturity, and they're playing with everything they have. And I think that it sets us apart too, is how close we are together. I think that we're close on and off the field. We're best friends. We're a second family. And I think that that's super important, because you have to have that chemistry on and off the field. You have to have it off the field to have it on the field. So I think
Coach, you wear a lot of hats. I noticed you're the lighting director here as well.
Yeah, geez, I don't know what happened there, but hopefully we bought some more time. Or we need to fire the light guy, right?
Hey, you've been turning the lights out on the competition nonstop.
Right.
I mean, that's what's going on there. You know, Lexi, when you talk about the team and just the chemistry and the work ethic, I know that a lot of you, you know, were involved with FC Dallas and their programs. How much did that help you with your chemistry and just building things and making you guys a state champion?
Well, the four captains, including myself, are all on the same club team. So me, Mia, Brielle, and Madi Vana all play together, and that has helped tremendously. I think even though some of them play different positions for high school and club, I think that that's helped the most, because they're my midfield and I'm their forward, you know, so it helps to have that direct chemistry, first of all. But second of all, I think that as captains of the team, being able to kind of communicate with each other first and then the team second is super important. And I think that we were able to do that. And I mean, you know, we're just super close now that we've been on the same club team. We carpool and, you know, do lots of fun things together after practice. So I think it's just helped us become better friends as well. And then, you know, that kind of sets a good positive tone for the rest of the team. But yeah, there are a lot of other girls that play on FC Dallas. Makenna plays on FC Dallas as well. And they're just, I think that it's a great program. And I think that it helps to all be kind of from the same place. And obviously, we've played with Makenna a bunch. She's guest played with us. So just those little things help.
Yeah, coach. And I know, coaches want to get that and have their girls playing together, but this team just kind of naturally does this on their own. You have several kids that are going to be playing college. They were signees, all stars, so talented. Talk about how the dynamics of all this team from your perspective, how you put it all together and how important each one of them are.
Well, I really think they make it easy. There's a point where you start getting a little nervous when you accumulate the talent that we have on Celina, and you start wondering, is there going to be a bunch of egos, and these girls couldn't be any more selfless and any more whatever we need to do to make it work. We're all in on it. And I really think that's that makes these girls special, that this is something I tell everybody here in Celina all the time, that this is going to be one of those times where we're going to look back and say, hey, but remember whenever Lexi, Madi, and Mia and Brielle were here, that's going to be the golden age of where this greatness that is Celina soccer, where it all started. Kind of think back to whenever the U.S. women's national team won the World Cup for the first time, and Brandy Chastain runs and takes her shirt off and celebrates, and that's that team's iconic, and I really think that these girls are going to kind of represent, that's like our version of that group of girls, that this is going to be the sets the precedent for the program. We're growing. We're going to keep inheriting some really talented soccer players. I'm already hearing about girls that are moving in, out of state and can't wait to come here, and the talent's definitely going to keep accumulating here in the area, just because it's a popular area to live in. But I really think that these girls set the tone for what's to come ahead here in Celina, and them just being really selfless had and made it real easy. And I'll be honest with you, in that when you have your leaders that are willing to be selfish and sacrifice for the team, everybody else buys in, because if you don't, then you're the problem. And it really helps to put those right leadership personalities in place, and it couldn't be any better of a group of girls, where we have, Lexi, that's definitely not shy about speaking. She's definitely the vocal person on the team.
I say my opinion a lot.
Yeah. but then you got some of the other girls that can be vocal, but with both Madi and Mia, they're definitely not as I wouldn't say not as vocal, but at the same time, when they do speak, it carries a lot of weight, because what they do have to say is always something that's very topical and relevant to the situation. And Brielle is probably one of the smartest soccer minds that I've ever been around. There's times where she makes me makes me look like that that I'm a rookie, just because she's definitely, when it comes to the mental side of the game and tactical and everything, she's somebody that is ahead of her time. And I say, if she's definitely an old soul. And if I say, if whatever you're planning on doing for your career after ACU, she's going to go there to play soccer, said you ought to think about looking into coaching soccer, because I really think if she wants to go and get all the necessary license and go through that thing, that she if there was a person I would say she could be a Division I soccer coach someday, it would definitely be Brielle.
Yeah, and not only is she all state in soccer, but she's all state in hair as well. I know I brought that up a couple of times. But Lexi, looking at Brielle, you two were on an all-star team together. How pivotal do you think she has been in this state championship run for you?
Oh my gosh, she has been such an important part. I think she was an important part last year, even though a lot of her season was cut short. But I think, especially for me as a player, me and Brielle have really good chemistry together. She has a ton of my assists to my goals and everything. And I think that all of our midfield was extremely instrumental. But particularly in her, I see she would take girls on. She's a lefty, changes it up. She's different. But I think that she is the person that can thread the needle perfectly, especially for me. I make more runs. I don't like the ball at my feet. I like to be a little bit more dynamic, kind of like you were saying earlier. And so for me, having that perfect ball in play and her seeing that on the field, just her soccer IQ in general, I think is just so important. And I think that it is definitely a huge portion of the reason that we won and we were able to get to the place we were at, and we could not have done it without her 100%.
It's awesome to hear. Now, Coach, you've been able to have the luxury of coaching all three Normans now, and this legacy is going to continue here. Have you checked with the family? Are there any more Normans on the way, because they're just such an amazing athletes?
I don't know if the parents could handle that. Three are enough. If you knew them personally, they are. It's funny that from Mia, and then the middle one's Ella. She's in 10th grade, and then Emerson is a 9th grader. She, as they get younger, they get more and more wackier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that family go crazy.
All right, Lexi, one thing that really stands out to me is bus rides. When you guys get on the bus, magical things happen. I know a lot of teams that have to drive around for state can be monotonous after a while, but you girls really find a way to make it entertaining, and the videos have gone absolutely viral. Tell me about how you come up with that, and who's doing the choreography?
Well, if you are referencing the TikToks, I had nothing to do with that. But a lot of the juniors are very creative, and they find these TikToks that they love to do, and they did them. Obviously, you saw Makenna in that one, Makenna and Brooklyn. They love to do that kind of thing. Claire, Claire loves to do that kind of thing. But I think that it's just great. Obviously, we love to make it more fun. Even the behind the scenes are pretty fun. We play music and we sing and we dance, and it's fun. It's really fun. The bus rides are something else, and that's always going to be one of my favorite things. Looking back on high school soccer, you just can't beat it. I think that's what everyone says, but it truly is always just so fun.
From your perspective, how much do you enjoy the bus rides, Coach? Because I know you like the chemistry, but it can get out of control a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's entertaining. I definitely go home and tell stories to my wife and daughter. So it definitely keeps it light. That's part of this job that you hope as a coach that the team gets comfortable enough to be that way, because that they're being themselves and being kids. And bottom line is that when it comes down to everything, they're kids, and if they're excited because they went out and are celebrating a win, then I'm all for it, because they're the ones that put in the work at practice every week. And I just stand there on the sideline and yell stuff, and they're I'm the conductor, and they're the ones that are playing the symphony. And if they want to celebrate, then I say that they should be able to do that.
And you're driving the bus.
Right. So they keep me awake. Some of these district games that we got to play are a little far out there. Yeah. So the music can be a good thing. That these conversations are definitely entertaining, and Coach Prescott and I, we at the end of the bus ride, we'll kind of both look at each other and be like, well, that was that was interesting.
Well, one thing that you did throughout the season, which I really enjoyed during the regular season, was you would honor the star of the game with a world championship belt, kind of the Wonder Woman thing. Tell me about how you came up with that, Coach.
Yeah, they love the belt. It's for me, I think it's really important to recognize somebody that did very well, because in soccer, well, really just like any sports, that a lot of the unsung heroes get unsung, and I feel that's kind of a travesty, because they're just working just as hard out there on the field and in practice as everybody else, and to be able to go and have I give the first award out. The first time the belt is given, it's given by me. But from there going forward, it's the person that won the belt is the one that decides. And I really think that that's special because it lets the team know that their peers are recognizing how they're playing. And I think they probably think that way more special than anything I can give them, because when you're getting recognized by your peers, I'm the dad of the group, and of course dad's gonna say everything nice about everybody and all that, because that's what dads do. But when you got your sisters, they're recognizing you as to what you're doing, then I think that's special. And I think as much as they as corny as it is to have the championship belt, I think that they secretly love it and can't wait to hopefully get recognized each game for the belt.
So Lexi, would you wear that belt, around campus until the next game? Is that how it worked?
Oh, it's not cute enough for that.
Yeah, we need to. I think in this off season we're gonna do some. Yeah, we're gonna do something.
We need some diamonds and bling on that thing.
Right, exactly.
So Lexi, when you come back as a back-to-back state champion after the perfect season and you come back to the community, talk about the support that you have received and how special it is to pull back into Celina and see that tower in that radiant orange.
It's actually one of my favorite things to talk about, our community and how they've been the last 2 years, especially. It just means so much to us, for them to constant support people I don't know, people that don't know me really, saying congratulations, just putting in the time to do things. There's hay bales on the side of the road painted orange saying take state, back to back. And it's just those little things in the community that make such a difference, especially for the small town that it truly is, but also to be recognized, because like he said earlier, it really was a football town for so long, and now to have soccer being recognized, it's kind of like a dream. And the water tower being orange, it's just so, the mayor recognizing that, and it's just so so sweet to me and so meaningful to me as a player, especially a senior player, going out and seeing how much our community has loved us and supported us and everything. And whether they were there, whether they weren't there, it's just so important to have that support, and to feel that has just been amazing. And it's just been something I will never forget for the rest of my life. It's everyone in this town, and it's just crazy to me that many people can care about something so little, but something that means so much to us,
I mean, it's kind of special that when you have a town that puts on a watch party for our games when we got to state, and there were people that were going to downtown Celina, and they had a big screen set up, and they were watching our games, and people were coming down and watching, and that that says something, to have a high school soccer game being being projected in downtown, and you have people showing up watching it it's unbelievable.
Even our admin too, letting the students get excused absences to go to the game, and even if the students couldn't go to the game for whatever reason, and they put it on in the auditorium. And so it's just those things that really, you can see how tightly knit our community is and how amazing it is.
So fun to see. And I know that, Coach, you've talked about it before. You follow your football coach's lead, Bill Elliott, who, by the way, could probably out bench press everybody on his team. Guy's in unbelievable shape. But, you guys talked about, Lexi did, about the football tradition and how important it is to the community. From your perspective, how about just the support that you've received in the community, wrapping their arms around you instantly to see the girls and to see all the success?
Yeah, it's wonderful. We last year, or I guess this year, when we won state last year, this year we were in the homecoming parade, and you could see how electric people would get whenever they saw our float coming, because they knew that was the state champions, and everybody was, you could hear in the crowd, oh, there's the soccer team, and we've gone to visit some elementary schools in the area, and
they're so cute.
Yeah, for them to get so fired up when we're there, and it was, I said something to the effect of, I can't wait for some of y'all to come play for me someday. And you could just see it in their faces, like, wow, I get to be on the state championship soccer team someday. So I really think that there are some little girls there at some of these schools that are sitting there saying, man, I can't wait to go and play at the high school. And that's special, that when you're touching little kids' lives and making an impact to where that gives them a goal to try to achieve it. That's really cool.
Do you feel as though almost winning breeds winning, Coach, at that school, because there's just such a high standard of winning state championships?
Yeah, just there's, with the cross country team, they've won back-to-back state championships this year. With the football team winning, setting all the records for the most championships in a row at one point, and all the championships they won. That this is definitely a place where if you're not a winner, then it becomes tough, because this town's been very blessed to have some programs that have done very well. And I think because of that, it really gives people the mindset that every season, every season, it's almost like the Cowboys, right? Every season you expect a Super Bowl, or it's it's not as successful as the season as you'd hoped. And that's really where the football team is here. And I think that we're starting to set precedent in some of the other programs here too, with like I said, with cross country being back-to-back state champions, and now soccer being back-to-back state champions.
Yeah, Lexi, you guys are like rock stars walking around that town. And I know recently you just were at the track. You went to state in track and field, and your relay team finished a very close third, just by a second. Tell me about that experience in representing Celina there, at the track state meet.
It was really great being at the track state meet, especially for me, coming from soccer and everything, and then being able to experience that for the first time, because this is my first real year doing track. I tried to do it freshman year, but obviously COVID cut it short. So it was a really cool experience, and I think that it's just super fun for me. Obviously, I love to run, and I think that it's one of my strengths. My speed is on the field. So being able to run with some of my best friends and for my school was really awesome. And the support that track gets too is really awesome. Those track parents, day in and day out, help us, give us loads of snacks and drinks, and make sure that we are set up, make sure that we are getting fed, getting rest. So, the support for every sport here is crazy, but track was super, super fun, and it was such a great experience. And it didn't turn out how we wanted, obviously, but I think that just being at that state meet is still an accomplishment. And I think that the way we went out was still a very big accomplishment.
Now, Coach, I heard this crazy rumor that you wear cleats at practice. So are you actually trying to play, or is there like a senior league for 50 and older guys after the practices? What's going on there?
Oh, yeah. No, I like to pretend that I still have it. But every once in a while it shows. I'll do something every once in a while out there where the girls would be like, oh, all right, Coach. And I'm like, I promise I played soccer before. That I know I look old and fat now, but there was a time where I wasn't as unathletic looking as I am now, and I definitely hanging around these girls, it definitely makes you feel young, and that's I think what a lot of coaches will tell you is that you try to go out there and show them that you're not so old yet, even though your body's saying otherwise. But I definitely try to get out there and have a little bit of fun with the girls every once in a while.
Well, you need that because you're trying to avoid all those Gatorade showers that are happening. That's what's, you got to be quick and fast and all that. Right. Now, Lexi, I know he's sitting next to you, so it's kind of hard to say this, but tell me what Coach Adams has meant to you and the girls, and really has gotten the most out of you guys to be able to put together a perfect season.
I think that, like I was saying earlier, I think that the most important thing between a coach and a team is being able to communicate, because, you can have this amazing coach, but if all the players hate him and don't want to play for him, how's that going to ever work? And so for us, I think that him being able to like hear our opinions and truly want to listen to us. And he'd speak with the captains and want to, know what was going on that he couldn't see. And he was just really great in communicating with us. And I think that that is just the most important thing. And for me, I would go up to him, hey, like, some of the girls are saying this or this, and, I think that this is an issue. Like, can you help me out? What do you think we should do? And I think that, when a problem arises, it's really easy to go to him and try and talk to him about it. And I think that that's the most important thing for sure. That he has done so, I don't want to say he's done so well, but I think that that's one thing that I've really, really appreciated this year, is being able to come and to talk to him, and him being able to, and him listening to me, and, wanting to help instead of just blowing me off, and not even really taking the time out of his day to like really hear what I'm trying to say. And that goes for all the captains and all the team. They would, if there's an issue, hey, let's just talk to him about it. Like, everything like that. I think that was the most important thing, but obviously, practicing, I've been with a coach before that just cancels practice all the time and doesn't care. And you can tell that he really cares and he wants to win, and he wants, to make sure that we're getting the most out of every practice and every game and everything like that. And I think that that's super important.
Yeah, Coach. And it's really amazing too. You look at it over these last 2 years, you've had injuries, you've had graduations of your best players, and yet you've been able to maintain all this winning. How have you been able to do that?
Well, really, that's just a tribute to the girls. That they're the ones that are working the off season, going out and trying new things at club. We've got a great group of girls. Grace Pritchard, she's one that definitely, last year was her freshman year, and then with her sophomore year this year, really showed that she can elevate her game between practicing and her her club season, and I think she's just one of those many examples on the team of where if you want to go and be good at something, you've got to practice and be willing to go put in all the reps that require you to be better, and that's the thing, is that this team has a bunch of girls that recognize that. And really, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they do recognize how much people really care on this team, and they know that if they don't put in the same effort, that they're going to be left behind. And I always talk about how we had 2 seniors this year with Madison Hagenbrock and Savannah Knowles. I was very upfront with the girls at the end of last year and said, hey, that we've got a chance to go and run it back, but it's going to take every single one of you to come in and do it. And those 2 girls came in all summer and worked out to make sure that they were ready to take our season on. And that kind of just shows the kind of care and want, and they're role players, and we had an injury, and Madison ended up taking a bigger role than she probably would have at the beginning of the season, and killed it because of that. And so I really think it's a test to the girls, setting the precedent that we need to make sure that we're getting better in the off season, because if you're not, then you're going to get passed up by somebody else.
Yeah, and I really love the way the families let you coach their kids hard, and you can see all those morning workouts and how it's paid off. And we're really seeing that in the DFW Metroplex. I mean, this is the second year in a row that the DFW has swept all the soccer titles. You think about Flower Mound Marcus in 6A, Grapevine in 5A, obviously you guys in 4A, and 48 of the last 59 titles since 1995 have gone to the DFW Metroplex. Lexi, why do you think the DFW has been so good in state soccer?
I think that just North Texas in general, but specifically the DFW Metroplex is so competitive, both in high school but also in club, and I think that plays a huge role, because these girls on club are basically a bunch of different high schools, their best players coming together. And I mean, if you really look at it, we have so many different club teams in the DFW area: Sting, Texans, FC Dallas, Solar. There's just, and more obviously, but there are so many high-level club teams in this area to house so many high-level club players. And these club players are going to these, high school teams and making such a difference when really a lot of even South Texas, but other states especially too, like don't even really have as many high-level players and high-level clubs that they come from. And I think that that is just such an important role, being in those club teams and then coming into high school and being able to play and really shine and then make a difference.
I mean, I really think the area is really attractive for a lot of people. Dallas is a great place to live. You always hear all the time about professional athletes that have never played, a single, professional game where their home team was a Dallas team, but yet they live here. And I think this area is attractive to high level coaches. There's a lot of coaches in England that want to give up, their miserable winters and everything and come here to a place where it's pretty pleasant, almost all year round, and between the people that get attracted from over there in Europe, and also, there's a lot of people from South America that are high level coaches too. And I really think it's an attractive area for people to come live, and it's helped the soccer community out great, because I think it's really, you're getting the high level coaching that produces high level players, and you can see that definitely comes to fruition here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah, and you look at how your community is growing. I mean, you're going to be a 6A school in a couple of years. I mean, it's pretty amazing how Celina is growing so much, probably too quickly maybe. But, I know you like to schedule the heavyweights in the non-district. Everybody wants to see your girls take on Southlake, maybe a Flower Mound Marcus or a Grapevine in the non-district. Are you working on those battles?
Yeah, we're losing quite a bit of players this year, and I really think we're still gonna play some. We got Ursuline on the schedule again next year, a couple of Frisco schools, and we're still gonna bring it next year. But I think the following year we may start tackling some of those. I was actually talking to the Southlake coach this past weekend. He was there for the Tasco All-Star game and said that, hey, maybe not this year, but the next, let's make it happen, and he's for it. So a Southlake Celina match that everybody's been calling for is probably not this year, but next year. But we definitely, to be the best, you got to beat the best, and we're real fortunate in this area to have some of the best soccer teams, high school soccer teams in the area to have access to those. Is that's a fortunate thing. So we're definitely going to take advantage of that.
Southlake Carroll's got to stop ducking you guys. That's all I'm saying. But
right.
so Lexi, you could have gone anywhere. I mean, obviously all the college eyes have looked at you. You committed to Northern Colorado. And tell me about that process. Why there, and how cool is it that you're going to go with your teammate, Mia Norman? I'm sure that's going to be an even other added incentive to go there.
So when I went to visit, it was just a really great atmosphere for me. And I've always loved Colorado. I've always loved skiing, and they actually allow you to ski. And I'm a huge skier. And it's going to be close to those mountains. It's close to some family actually that I have in Colorado, which is really nice. I think that for me, there were a lot of just attractive attributes for it. And also just the coaches, and I really got along, and I just really loved the atmosphere, the campus, the girls that I met there when I was there, the people that I met there as well. I just think that it was a really great fit for me at the time. Actually, I committed as I was about to leave because I just loved it so much, and I knew that that was like the place for me. And yes, Mia definitely kind of showed it to me for sure before I had really considered going there. And I started talking to their coach and really, really liked him, and really we clicked very well. And I think that Mia going is just another great attribute to it. I think that we're really good friends besides the soccer team and everything. So it's really cool that I'm going to be able to go with one of my best friends. And I think that that'll be super fun. And then again, I have someone I already know there, and I have someone comfortable even being so far away from home.
And you get to ski, because most programs won't let you ski, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the best part of all of that.
Most programs won't let you ski, and I love skiing, and being that close to a mountain, I'd just be itching all the time to do it. So I'm really excited about that.
Lexi, looking back at your career, I mean, it's really remarkable. I mean, a lot of people never get that opportunity to play in back-to-back state championships. You score the game-clinching goal on a penalty kick in 2022. Then you have the 5 goals in 2023. I mean, it's storytell kind of stuff. What do you want to be most remembered for when people look back and they think about Lexi Tuite and what she was able to pull off?
I think for me, it is so important to me that I get remembered, yes, as this record breaker and goal scorer and a great player at Celina, but also, a good leader and a good person off the field that people actually liked and, could talk to on the team. I hope I'm not intimidating to those people. I want them to be able to come talk to me. So I think it's most important to me that I am remembered as a great person to come through Celina, along with being a great player. I think that that's most important to me, though, for sure.
No, I did immense research before this interview to make sure that I knew how to pronounce your last name. Okay. What are the weirdest pronunciations you've heard from your name? Because we hear it on the state championship level. I'm like blown away, about all the pronunciations. What are the weirdest ones you've heard?
Weirdest ones? I think the most outrageous one I've ever heard was tight. Because I just don't really understand how anyone can get that. But I've really heard it all. A lot of people just don't pronounce it. They'll just say my first name. But I've heard Tuite, Tuite, Tuite. It's just, it's a huge range. I can't even begin to. That's a long conversation. But for me, I really do think it's hilarious. I think that I get to tweet a lot. But every single at the All-Star game this past weekend, they still said it. I'm like, oh
man.
Well, tweeting is very popular, so I could see that, But just remember, toot your horn. That's what Coach told me,
Yes, sir. I know.
Well, Coach, as you look ahead, how do you top off the perfect season? I mean, I guess you just go back to back to back, right?
Gosh, it's remarkable to think that's because you, as a coach, you try to build off of the previous year and how do you do that? So with accomplishing what we accomplished. So I think in the off season, we'll have to kind of sit back. We're going to have a young team. Like I said earlier, we're going to have a young team. So how can we build off of a perfect season, but also at the same time, introduce some new blood to the program and kind of get them to realize what our program here at Celina is all about. So that's definitely going to be some contemplating that I'll do over the summer and try to get a identity for the team, because this year it was easy that, hey, we're the champions, let's go defend it. And then the year before it was, hey, the season was stopped too soon. We could have gone and won it. So there's definitely going to be some thought process as to how we go to tackle that next year.
Well, Coach Adams and Lexi Tuite, thank you so much for doing this with us. Continued success, and can't wait to see the future for the two of you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us and pronouncing my last name right.
Yeah, thank you very much. And everybody here in Celina appreciates everything you're doing for us. So thank you.
I appreciate that. And by the way, Lexi, I practiced your name in the mirror, so that's why I had it right on. Well, hey, congratulations on the perfect season.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for checking out Rick Renner, Texas High School Hysteria. Make sure you subscribe and never miss an episode. You can catch us on YouTube, Apple, and Google Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, or all the other major podcast platforms. Tune in, and we will see you next week.